Right guys, so you join me here today. I'm on Tiddenfoot, which is my local park lake. The reason I'm here is because it's the only real ticket I've got, if I'm honest, since Brown's Angling closing, which, you know, is sad for everyone, especially me. It's where I used to work, but we were very fortunate in the sense that we actually got given books and tickets because we used to sell a lot of the books for those clubs and various other waters. So this one is local to me. A few things have changed in my life and in my job and stuff like that. So fishing's been at a very slow for me this year. This is the sort of first time I've been out in about 7 months. But why am I here specifically today? Well, we've been doing a bit of a baiting campaign. It's now the end of September, early autumn. The trees are starting to turn brown, the leaves are starting to turn yellowy brown, they're falling. It's got real prime autumn vibes about it, you know. Just kind of gets the buzz going back again. So with me and my brother, who you'll see along this journey, we've been doing a lot of baiting, specifically in this swim that's relatively central to the lake. It doesn't get fished much because it's at the bottom of a really high bank, so you've got to trek all your gear down off the barrow and to the swim, so it doesn't get fished much. A lot of the people that are on here this year are not new anglers, not new to angling, but new to the lake, and I think the steps and the effort that you've got to get to these swims are they do put a lot of people off. But if you're happy to put the effort in, the rewards will come. So this is my first session here today. We've done this similarly in the past with one of my good friends, Stu. Big up, Stu. And it worked really well. You know, we've been baiting now for the last 3 weeks. We've been putting out about 15 to 20 kilos of bait every time we've come, which is a lot of bait for this lake. It doesn't see a lot of bait. It sees a lot of angling pressure, and it sees a lot of anglers, various different styles, from, you know, pike fishing, carp fishing, cat anglers. That's one thing to mention. There are a lot of cats in here, probably just as many cats as there are carp, if not more cats. So summertime is a bit of a no-go really for me on here, just purely because I'm busy with work and stuff, but also the cats, you know, prime time for cat fishing, not for me. So that's why I'm here today. We've been doing a lot of baiting, a lot of work, and there are some lovely carp here to be had. One's just shown on the spot. There are 3 main carp in this lake. 4 actually. There are 4. You've got the Italian, which is a fish from stocking of about 20 odd years ago. That goes £47, big carp. You've then got another fish called the Leadburn, which in many people's opinions and mine is the jewel of the lake, the gem of the lake. It's not the biggest by any stretch of the imagination. It just touches 40, goes over £40, maybe 41, 42, but hovers around the sort of 38, 39 pound mark. And it is a real lush fish. Amazing carp. It's not, I don't believe it's from one of the stockings from years ago. I believe it's done the rounds, this fish. I believe it's from stories told, and again, this isn't, don't take this for gospel, but I've heard that it's originated in the canal, which is only about 100 yards away in the other direction from this lake. It's then ended up in a pit behind here, which isn't fishable anymore, called the Leadburn Pit. And then when that lake stopped being fishable, a lot of the anglers, I believe, moved a lot of the stock into Tiddenfoot. So I believe the fish got its name because it had a big chunk of its time over in Leadburn and moved into Tiddenfoot, hence the name of the Leadburn. Amazing carp. Lovely scales across its flank, real dark colours, old fish. And then you've got another carp called Sid. I don't know why it's called Sid, but its full name is Sid the Simo, which is another big carp. Really big, really big, typical kind of Simo style looking carp, but does get very big. It's a female, so you catch it just after spawning. It can be right down in weight, sort of mid-30s, but you catch it at the right time of year, like now, or in the winter, or just before spawning. That fish can get very big. Again, mid-40s, potentially bigger. And then there's another fish called the rash, which I don't actually know exactly where this fish has come from, whether it was one of those original stockings not original stockings, but stocking from around 20 years ago. I don't know, but it's a real kind of Bedfordshire style carp, sort of grey, mottled skin, big sort of almost like, looks like a rash across the side, on its side, hence the name. All the sort of red blood vessels. It's a real bloodworm eater, this carp. But again, that fish touches around 40, probably slightly under on average, sort of 37 pound. But they're the main carp, but there's a lot of other carp in here, big, lovely backup 20s and 30s that are really kind of old characters. With it being a park lake, there's fish in here that no one really knows how they got in here. You've got the canal 100 yards away, and it's all prone to flooding, so there's fish coming and going throughout the rainy seasons very often, and there's still fish in here that I've seen only one person catch, and there's a carp in here that I've caught that I've not seen anyone caught. Doesn't mean to say it hasn't been caught by anyone else, but it's one of those sort of lakes. It does throw up a few surprises here and there, and it really is one of them places you've just got to see and experience. So join us along on this journey. Hopefully we can catch a few. So it's the morning now, and it was a quiet night last night, really. I say quiet, I had a bite about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock last night, which sort of wiped out both my rods. It was left-hand rod that went and wiped out both my rods, weeded me right up, and must have shook the hook as it sort of weeded me up, because it went completely solid. And then I was just pulling in like dead weight. Part of you is always thinking, is there going to be something in there? This big ball of weed that ends up sort of drifting in, but nothing there. So a little bit annoyed, really. Felt like it was a nice one as well. The way it kind of pulled up slow, ticked out of the clip, and then sort of slowly started to lunge forward. And then as I was playing it, it wasn't juddery, it was sort of lunging. So quite frustrated with that one, but that's fishing. So I've obviously woken up this morning, I've seen a couple show, and luckily I'm sort of got this half of the lake pretty much to myself, which is pretty much unheard of for a weekend. So I see one show out to my right, and I've pinged one over to that this morning. I've left one on the spot. The other rod got totally wiped out and just was unplayable. At that time of the night, when you're fishing on a sort of spot that you need to be accurate on, I didn't feel confident to get all three rods back out on the same spot without causing too much commotion. When there was a chance for a bite, I felt it was wise just to put two rods back out on the spot. So I did that. Obviously nothing after that. I think the bite must have spooked the fish off the area. So plan of action today is to sort of reel the rods in about 5 to 7 minutes. get the kettle on, redo some rigs, get some rigs redone, sharpen some hooks, get some rigs retied, and then have a little wander, and then get the rigs back out into position for sort of later on this evening. I think it's predominantly evening bites in this swim, anywhere between sort of 8 and midnight really is when you should expect to have the bites, and that's kind of what happened last night. And then after midnight, if you haven't had a bite, you know, your luck's kind of drawing in really. So yeah, I've left the rods out this morning and we'll see if anything happens, but I'm going to reel them in 5 minutes, and then just sort of catch up on some admin stuff really, hook tying, giving everything a bit of a clean up, get rid of the rest of this weed that sort of drifted in from last night, and yeah, get ready for this evening. And here we have it, folks, the aftermath of the big the fish loss last night, the fish loss that weirded me right up. That was what I pulled in this morning after leaving it overnight because I wasn't getting it. So silty down there, I'm not getting in there. It literally goes right up to your knee, and I didn't really want to be doing that in the dark on my own, if I'm honest. So I left it till this morning and fucking pulled it in, and yeah, that's the aftermath of it. But I'll show you kind of where you have to come up and down from. So you've got to kind of walk this way, and then up those steps that go right up there. So you got to come all the way down here with all your kit, and then through to there. So it's not like a massive journey in terms of once you get to the top of the stairs, but it is, you know, when you've got a 20 kilo bed chair or whatever and all your other kit, it is a bit of a jaunt. So yeah, here we are. Excuse the messy swim. This is where we are, and over there is where I mentioned the shallows are. So you've got peg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And that's like a dog walker's swim over there. And then you've got what's called as the fallen tree, what the swim known as the fallen tree. Used to have a big fallen tree in it, hence the name. They've taken it out now, so that's gone. Then we've got a swim called 2 tier over there, and I don't know if you can just about make that out, but there are 2 tiers. And then, oh no, hang on a minute, no, that is suicide. That is 2 tier. This one here is 2 tier, this one's fallen tree, and this one here is suicide. It's so steep, and this is why it's called suicide, because yeah, you have to kill yourself to get to your rods. And then that basically fishes out into sort of 30 foot of water, but you can fish along that this sort of snag line over here, which the carp do like to get into. Then you got all these swims I always get confused between which ones are which, but I just call them the deeps. So over here you've got deeps, and then there's another swim over here. So yeah, and then obviously all the swims along the same bank as me. So yeah, I mean, I'm fishing. So you've got this tree line. We've got a tree line here along the back. We are fishing to this tree, and this tree, sort of around here. Kind of where the wind, pretty much where that wind breaks on the surface there. Right, Nick, I'm going to ask some questions, and if you could only pick one of these things to use or have for the rest of your life, you have to pick one answer. Alright? Okay, so first question. Lead clip or heli safe?
Lead clip.
Boilie or particle?
Particle.
Spom or catapult?
Spom.
Braid or mono?
Braid.
Gravel or silt?
Gravel.
Tea or coffee?
Definitely tea. I hate coffee.
Camo or khaki?
Definitely not camo.
Pop up or bottom bait?
Bottom bait.
Autumn or spring?
Autumn.
Bacon or sausages?
Bacon.
Last one. Birmingham or Villa?
Don't swear at me. Birmingham City.
Up the Blues.
Fucking blues. Oh, here we go.
How's your bacon sandwich, Nick?
Decent.
Yeah?
I will get another one in a minute.
Here it is, the boy. The man beneath the ledge.
Just literally about a dozer.
Who's that?
Literally, well, as in like, my eyes were shut. I had a bleep about 10 minutes ago.
Want to do anything with your rod?
No.
All good?
That's so
Nice, right, I'm going to turn the head torch off. Let's get this bad boy in. Show it to us. Nice one, brother. Yeah, man.